The town of Valdosta, Georgia, lay under a canopy of stars, its streets bathed in the soft amber glow of streetlights. The hum of the occasional passing car punctuated the night air, mingling with the rustling of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. The peaceful quiet was only interrupted by the rhythmic creak of a rocking chair on a porch or the distant bark of a dog. Officer James Patterson, a 35-year-old veteran of the Valdosta Police Department, sat in his patrol car, navigating the town's familiar streets. His sharp eyes flicked back and forth, trained to notice the smallest irregularities. A seasoned officer, James found comfort in his nightly routines, even on nights as still as this one. Despite the calm, James felt a tinge of unease, a sense of restlessness that often came with the stillness of night. His mind wandered to his family, Angela, his steadfast wife, and their two boys, Caleb and Ethan, who would likely be tucked into bed by now. The thought of their laughter, their hugs, and the warmth of home brought a faint smile to his lips. The framed picture on his dashboard, showing his family on a sunny day at the park, served as a reminder of what he was protecting with every shift. Not far away, a sleek black SUV rolled quietly through the Valdosta streets. Inside, Shaquille O'Neal, the towering basketball legend, enjoyed the serenity of the night. The vehicle was custom-made for a man of his stature, with plush leather seats and spacious interiors. The soft strains of R&B music played from the radio, blending harmoniously with the low purr of the engine. Shaq often sought solace in drives like these, away from the limelight and the demands of fame. The quiet allowed him to reflect on his journey, from the streets of Newark, where he first learned to dream big, to the pinnacle of NBA stardom. Despite his fame and fortune, Shaq remained deeply grounded, his values shaped by his mother's wisdom. Always give back. No matter how high you rise, never forget the people who helped you get there. Tonight, his thoughts turned to Valdosta, a community he had come to admire. His recent contributions to local initiatives, like building recreation centers for underprivileged children, brought him a sense of fulfillment. For Shaq, philanthropy was not just a duty, it was a reflection of who he was. As James neared the end of his shift, his trained eyes caught sight of bright headlights cutting through the stillness of the street. A large SUV zipped past him, moving faster than it should have. Though not recklessly speeding, the vehicle's pace was enough to warrant attention. Flipping on his cruiser's lights, James accelerated to catch up. He maintained his professionalism, though he couldn't shake the feeling that this stop might be different. Inside the SUV, Shaq noticed the flashing lights in his rearview mirror. A soft chuckle escaped his lips as he slowed down and pulled over. This wasn't his first run-in with a patrol car, and he approached such moments with humor and humility. James stepped out of his cruiser, the cool air brushing against his face as he adjusted his flashlight. Approaching the SUV with measured steps, he tapped on the tinted window. It rolled down smoothly, revealing the driver. James's breath hitched for a moment. He wasn't initially struck by the man's size, but by the aura of familiarity and calm that radiated from him. "Good evening, sir," James began, his tone steady. "Do you know why I pulled you over tonight?" Shaq tilted his head slightly, his grin wide. "I might have been going a little too fast," he said, his deep voice carrying a warmth that immediately set James at ease. James nodded. "That's correct. Can I see your license and registration, please?" As Shaq handed over his documents, James froze for a moment. The name on the license stared back at him. Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal. "Wait, you're Shaquille O'Neal?" James asked, his usual professionalism giving way to genuine awe. Shaq chuckled, raising his hands playfully. "Guilty as charged." James couldn't hide his amazement. Growing up, he had idolized Shaq, not just for his dominance on the court, but for the larger-than-life personality that inspired so many. Meeting him here, in such an ordinary context, felt surreal. As the conversation unfolded, James found himself captivated not just by Shaq's fame, but by his humility and passion for giving back. "My mom always told me," Shaq said, leaning slightly forward, "that no matter how big you get, it's the size of your heart that counts. Every person has the power to make a difference. Sometimes, it's as simple as showing respect." James listened, feeling a profound sense of connection. Here was a man whose stature and fame could easily set him apart, yet his words emphasized unity, humility, and kindness. "People forget sometimes," Shaq continued, "that titles, wealth, and fame don't define us. How we treat others, that's what people remember." Before leaving, Shaq reached into his glove compartment and handed James a card with a heartfelt note. "To Officer Patterson, thank you for your service. The world needs more people like you. Keep leading with respect. Shaq." James stared at the card, overwhelmed by the gesture. "You've made my night, sir. Thank you for the reminder that kindness can make all the difference." Shaq smiled. "And thank you for keeping these streets safe. We all have a role to play." As Shaq drove off into the night, James stood by his cruiser, reflecting on the encounter. It wasn't just a celebrity moment. It was a powerful reminder of the values that connect us as human beings. This chance meeting teaches us an invaluable lesson. No matter how high we climb or where we stand in life, respect and kindness are the threads that bind us together. Every interaction, no matter how brief, holds the potential to inspire, uplift, and remind us of our shared humanity. To everyone watching, let this story be a beacon of hope. In a world often divided by differences, let us remember that small acts of kindness can bridge the largest gaps. Respect isn't just earned, it's shared. What will your next interaction teach someone?